As the old saying goes, you are what you eat. From Egg McMuffins to the first drive-thru window, fast food is an integral part of today's culture. Stay tuned to number 1 to find out how many centuries ago fast food restaurants first started making their mark on the world. Number 10. Founding Fathers. The story of the founding fathers of the United States is something we are all taught as children in school. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Alexander Hamilton risked their lives to create the United States of America and are recognized today as the heroes they are. Just as recognizable, however, whether it's fair or not, are the founders of some of America's fast food restaurants. John Hancock gave us the Declaration of Independence, but unfortunately he never gave us a side of fries and a Coke with it. Any discussion about fast food founders have to start with the Colonel himself, Harlan Sanders. Before coming the face and creator of Kentucky Fried Chicken, young Sanders dropped out of school at the age of 12 and ran away from home. Eventually, he became an attorney, but was ultimately disbarred after having a fist fight with a client in open court. This would not be Sanders' last time in front of a judge, as he would end up shooting a man in self-defense who defaced a sign for a Shell station he was operating. After his charges were dropped, Harlan Sanders realized his potential when he turned his gas station into a local restaurant, where he perfected his famous combination of 11 herbs and spices for the original recipe. Despite establishing 600 KFC franchise locations in less than 10 years, the Colonel was broke and forced to sell the chicken eatery for $2 million while staying on as the face of the company and the brand. Before selling the fast food chain in 1964, Colonel Sanders came across another future restaurant founder who would ultimately help KFC become the massive company it is today with over 18,000 locations worldwide. Who was that man, you ask? Dave Thomas. That's right, the guy who created Wendy's. Thomas met Sanders during KFC's expansion into Indiana. An eventual franchise owner, Thomas helped Sanders improve the brand by simplifying the menu and suggesting that Sanders appear in the commercials himself. Thomas eventually sold his share in 4 franchises he owned for $1.5 million in order to open his own hamburger restaurant. This was named after his daughter, Melinda Lou Wendy Thomas. The restaurant was based on old-fashioned hamburgers and classic shakes. The first restaurant was opened in 1969 in Columbus, Ohio, and became known as the eye-catching square burger patties, which were implemented by Thomas himself so that customers could see the quality of the meat. Today, Wendy's is the 3rd largest hamburger restaurant chain with over 6,500 locations in 30 countries. Despite both Harlan Sanders and Dave Thomas serving in the military, neither man reached the rank of colonel. However, both men were awarded as honorary Kentucky colonels by the governor of the state. Altogether, both men have appeared in over 1,000 commercials, and technically, that's 1,000 more than both George Washington and John Adams combined. Number 9. Can you hear me now? Once called the greatest invention in the history of mankind, well, by me anyway, the drive-thru has helped modernize the restaurant industry overall and changes our perception of fast food. Before the idea of the drive-thru was thought up, many restaurants depended on sit-down business or customers eating in their car via car hops. This required a lot of time and resources for many restaurants and ran quite a few of them out of business, including the early businesses run by the McDonald brothers. It wasn't until 1947 that the world's first drive-thru was created by Sheldon Chaney of Red's Giant Hamburg, the hamburger restaurant which was named The Hamburg because Chaney ran out of room on his giant sign, had crafted the design after customers began going to faster competitors. The idea was a major hit and soon being copied all over the country. While this would seem like a simple idea today, keep in mind that the man who thought of it also attached magnets to his soda fountains to magically enhance the flavor. Yeah, that's who revolutionized the fast food industry. Today, the drive-thru represents 60% of all fast food orders taken. The oldest drive-thru restaurants still open today are In-N-Out Burger, as Red's Giant Hamburg has been closed for 35 years. Sounds like those magnets didn't help attract new customers. See what I did there? Number 8. America's favorite food. Bread is boring. You know it and I know it. Bread is so boring, in fact, that man has found new and inventive ways to make it better for centuries. Adding herbs, oils, vegetables, meat, and whatever other flavor has made bread a staple of our diet. However, perfection was eventually achieved in the heart of Italy with man's greatest invention, pizza! Originally invented in 18th century in Naples, Italy, pizza was a street food that was meant for those with little money. It was cheap and easy to make. Many Europeans were initially hesitant to eat pizza because of the addition of tomatoes, which was not native to the continent and actually thought to be poisonous for over 200 years by its wealthier citizens. I actually know a few people who still think they're poisonous. Today, the pizza industry is worth over $700 billion worldwide. Americans especially love pizza as they eat 100 acres of pizza every year, or 350 slices of pizza every second. The math behind this country's love of pizza is almost unbelievable. Domino's Pizza, the world's largest pizza delivery chain, will sell 4 million pies alone on Super Bowl Sunday. Combined with their main competitor, Pizza Hut, they will purchase 6% of all mozzarella cheese sold in the United States. That's 1 in every 20 milk cows being dedicated strictly to those two companies. Wow. I think I need an antacid. Number 7. Famous advertising campaigns. Every day, Americans are exposed to marketing and advertisements meant to send us a message. Buy this, save that, vote this, watch that. We are exposed to upwards of 1,000 advertising messages every day through television, the internet, and billboards. However, nobody does it better than the fast food industry. In 2015, almost $6 billion were spent on marketing by restaurant chains such as Taco Bell, Burger King, and Subway. Every year, we are introduced to new multi-million-dollar marketing campaigns, giving us moneymakers like, "Where's the beef?" and "Finger looking good." However, no conversation about fast food advertising can be had without introducing the Clown Prince himself. That's right, Ronald McDonald. This iconic character was first introduced in 1963 and was portrayed by the Today Show's own Scott Willard. Originally named Ronald McDonald, the Happy Clown, this future idol was actually created without any input from the McDonald's Corporation. This grew into the mascot we know today, who, according to one study, is recognized by 96% of all school children in the United States. Now remember, McDonald's, just because you gave us a burger-pushing clown, we still don't forgive you for the McSpaghetti. Number 6. You look very familiar. Fast food has long been stereotyped in the United States by the typical startup job for young adults. While this is not statistically supported, as the average age of fast food employees is 29 years old, you may still remember a famous face or two that once asked you if you wanted to supersize. From the world of finance and telecom to music and film, there's a who's who list of powerful people who started their careers out with a McJob using the lessons they learned to reach new heights. This was the case for the current title holder of the world's richest man, Jeff Bezos. The Amazon CEO started his multi-billion-dollar empire as a grill man at McDonald's, earning minimum wage. It was here that he learned about hard work, responsibility, and the age-old lesson to never let failure slow you down. Madonna and Queen Latifah both worked front counters at Dunkin' Donuts and Burger King, respectively. Even Academy Award-nominated actor Brad Pitt put in his time in the fast food industry by handing out flyers in a giant chicken outfit for El Pollo Loco in Hollywood. This hardly seems fitting for someone voted the world's sexiest man in 1995 and 2000. Do you need any more examples of our best and most beautiful learning important lessons in responsibility and diligence? How about Barack Obama? That's right, the 44th President of the United States had a job as a teenager in a Honolulu, Hawaii location of Baskin-Robbins. After beginning his political career, the then senator reminisced that he had no idea how hard it was going to be to work at an ice cream shop, but he says he carried those lessons with him to Washington. Perhaps we've discovered the key to getting politicians to work together. Banana splits for everyone! Number 5. Let's get it started. Every day, 50 million people are served fast food from 160,000 locations all over the country. Despite being behemoth companies now, almost every fast food restaurant today got its start as an underdog, trying to show how delicious their new ideas were, maybe even causing their owners and founders to go broke before eventually changing the way we all eat. White Castle, for example, the world's first fast food hamburger restaurant, opened in 1921 from $700 of borrowed money. Today, there are 420 White Castle locations with a net revenue of over $600 million. Papa John started his future pizza empire in the broom closet of his father's Indiana tavern, getting his startup money by selling his car for only $1,600. That gamble resulted in a worldwide empire of 4,700 locations, becoming the official pizza sponsor of the NFL, and, most importantly, getting to meet Peyton Manning. Clearly, that's what's most important. Number 4. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Lady Justice is one of the most important symbols in our country as she stands for balance, authority, and impartiality. This has brought the idea that everybody is treated fair and equally in a court of law. Then the hot coffee lawsuit came around and things didn't seem so fair when all was said and done. The infamous hot coffee lawsuit, also known as Liebeck versus McDonald's restaurants, has long been mocked by people of the United States. The backstory is a woman spilled coffee, like we all do, and filed suit against the largest fast food restaurant chain in the world. She was awarded $2.86 million and became the target of scorn from almost every American, even being spoofed by a Seinfeld episode. But how much do we actually know about this famous case? In 1992, 79-year-old Stella Liebeck had joined her grandson for a 49-cent coffee through the McDonald's drive-thru. The coffee cup, which she admitted was her fault for spilling, was at an unbelievable temperature of 190 degrees Fahrenheit when it left the window. This was so hot that it caused third-degree burns to 16% of her body, including her buttocks, her thighs, and her genitals. She ended up in the hospital for 8 days, which required major surgery, and she almost died. Maybe we should all feel a little guilty. Well, McDonald's didn't. When Stella was left with over $20,000 in medical bills, she asked the fast food chain to simply help pay. Their response? An $800 settlement offer. When this case eventually went to trial, the jury awarded Stella only 2 days' worth of McDonald's coffee sales as payment. The ensuing reaction against Stella that followed, though, was a carefully crafted marketing plan, brought about by the McD's legal team in order to make her seem like a honey-hungry scammer. And it worked. Congressmen even introduced legislation to keep this kind of lawsuit from happening again, all thanks to lobbying from industry leaders. At times like this, I think Lady Justice may feel just a little sick to her stomach. Number 3. The most important meal of the day. Every morning we wake up and start our day with a balanced breakfast to help provide the energy we'll need. Favorites like eggs, bacon, and orange juice have become commonplace on our tables. But you know what would go really great with that balanced meal? Make those items bite-sized and smush them between 2 maple syrup-flavored buns branded with a McDonald's logo. That probably would have sounded unappetizing just a decade ago, but today, this and other similar breakfast items account for 25% of all McDonald's sales. This originally started after the development of the Egg McMuffin, which was created by a franchise owner in Santa Barbara, California in 1972. With the success of the overall breakfast menu for the corporate giant, many other fast food chains have followed suit. Taco Bell, with their kidney-shattering breakfast taco, has increased sales by 10% through breakfast alone since starting the service in 2014. With other restaurants such as Wendy's, Jack in the Box, and Burger King also waking up earlier, fast food chains are expected to serve upwards of 30% of Americans at least once a week. The convenience is great, but let's just assume your physician may not be pleased when you tell him where you finally started eating breakfast. Number 2. Kids are our future. Children are our most valuable resource. This famous quote, originally stated by President Herbert Hoover, has long been a repeated war cry of many successful politicians, including John F. Kennedy and George W. Bush. Well, this has also become the business model for the entire fast food industry. Originally starting with Ronald McDonald, the fast food giant saw the genius in marketing to children. This McBlitzkrieg on the mind of children was highlighted in the introduction of the legendary Happy Meal in 1979. Created by a franchise owner in Guatemala in the mid-1970s as the Menu Ronald. This toy-free meal was meant to feed children more efficiently in the South American nation. Once this idea hit corporate executives in Chicago, however, it was not long before the first fast food menu item conceived specifically for children was in McDonald's locations all over the United States. The mainstay toy would follow suit shortly. This concept helped change family dining forever. In 1989, the concept of playgrounds inside the restaurant was implemented after the success of fellow kid-friendly chain Chuck E. Cheese. And clearly the system has been a rounding success as 30 to 39% of all children are expected to eat fast food on any given day. Number 1. Looking towards the future. Since the opening of the first all-night noodle stands in ancient China occurred around 25 AD, the fast food industry has certainly changed and evolved with time. Today, it is Americana personified, and a way of life affecting almost every person in the country in one way or another. But if this list has taught us anything, it's that the version of convenient dining that people knew in the 1950s is completely different from today. So, what does that mean for the future? Currently, Americans spend over $100 billion every year on fast food. Surprisingly, that is enough money to end world hunger for years. With advanced studies in medicine and nutrition, it is common knowledge that fast food is bad for you and should rarely be eaten. This information has led to the introduction of many new menu items such as salads, yogurts, and smaller drink sizes that are marketed as healthy choices. However, the fact is that a salad at Burger King actually has more sugar than some sodas, and Pizza Hut was the largest buyer of kale simply to use it as an interior decoration. Regardless, many Americans see these as positive steps forward. Perhaps people will shift in a different direction, such as with restaurants like Chipotle, Qdoba Mexican Grill, and Baja Fresh. These chains, labeled as fast casual dining, have exploded in popularity in the last decade. These restaurants have given diners a different choice of where to eat while offering simple menus made with little to no chemicals and being cooked right in front of the customers. With over 2,000 locations and $3.9 billion revenue annually, perhaps Chipotle and similar eateries are the future. Or perhaps we'll just invent flying cars to make the drive-thru faster. Where do you think fast food is heading? Do you feel a change is needed in how we eat? Let us know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to keep up with other exciting information. We'll see you next time.